Bill Fatback Curtis is the legendary band leader of the American funk and disco band Fatback Band, a group best known for their R&B hits, Do the Spanish Hustle, Are You Ready, Do the Bus Stop, and I Found Lovin'. And he's on the line with us here just now. How are you doing today?
Wonderful, Toby. How are you?
I'm doing smashing, and all the better to speak to a legend like you.
Thanks a lot, man. I don't know about all that, but thanks.
Well, where does the term fatback actually come from?
That was a name that was given to me by a young man, a guitar player by the name of Eric Gale, and it was given to me because of the beat that I played, we call it a kind of greasy beat. And him and I was in the band together. And he would always say, hey, man, play that greasy beat you got. And then after a while, I said, which one? He said, that Fatback beat. I said, oh, yeah. And then he used to call me, and then everybody started calling me, hey, Fatback, you know. So when I got my band, I just named it Fatback.
And was it always your intention to become a musician?
Yes.
When did the string of hits and live appearances start? When did it all go crazy for you?
I was a late bloomer on this year. I didn't start. Well, I started playing early in my high school, but recording wise, I didn't start recording until on my own group until late in life, until around in the 60s. That's when I started recording with a Fatback. I formed my own band in the 60s, and then I started producing other groups, and some of the guys said, well, Bill, why don't you produce your own band? We love to record. That's how it got started. I went in and I said, well, I don't have nothing. He said, well, we just go in there and jam some. And that's what we did. We went in and started jamming.
Of course, as you mentioned, you performed for many years before forming Fatback Band in 1971. Did all your work before forming the band influence what you went on to do, or was it a platform to explore something completely different?
Well, we played music. When we played some of the tunes that we would put it this way, by playing the dances and everything, it gave us an avenue to record songs, but we didn't have the format, you know.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that we didn't have a format of A, B, C, D, bang, bang. We just played. And where we felt like things supposed to happen, that's when we would do it. If you notice some of the Fatback songs, they don't have that standard formula that most tunes have. You know, most tunes you have a 8-bar here, 8-bar. You might find a 10-bar in a Fatback tune. You might find a 6-bar. You know, that's what we played. We just played the way we felt.
How did you actually get the band together?
The band came out of, I was working with another young man named Warren Daniels. He had a band, and I was playing drums with him. And he was doing cabaret and, you know, dances and stuff like that. And then I started getting a few gigs on my own, and then I would use his band for my gigs. Then my gigs got a little heavy. His gigs got heavy. So I had to form my own group in order to cover my gigs. And what I had to do was I had to go out and find me a guitar player and a bass player and a horn player. So Warren told me about a guitar player that lived up in Harlem named Johnny King. I went up and talked to Johnny, and Johnny said, yeah. He said, why don't you he said, do you have a bass player? I said, no, get my bass player, Johnny Flippin. That's how we all got together.
Yeah. And of course, you mentioned that the Fatback Band songs maybe don't conform to the usual rules, but despite that, they are classics. I mean, I Found Lovin', for example, is a song that's guaranteed to make you feel good. I play it on my show virtually every Friday, and I feel everybody ought to.
That tune came, Johnny Clifton and Michael Walker. What happened was that after the band got to be 6 pieces in the band and 7 pieces in the band, and everybody wanted to contribute. So I divided the band up in little sections, and so they could work together, put 2 together, and these 2 work together, and they 2. And if y'all had a tune or something you want me to record, bring it to me. They brought John and Clifton wrote I Found Lovin'. They brought that tune to me. And Jerry Thomas, my co-producer, he put it together. And that's how it came about. It was we knew it was gonna be a hit.
Yeah.
We knew that we just had it. You know, certain tunes you just feel it in your bones.
Yeah.
But you see, there's another thing. We never had we didn't have any idea that the songs we was making would be around this long.
Yeah.
We didn't think anybody would ever hear the music. Therefore, we didn't have no pressure on us of making music. You know, like most people have the pressure on they got to go in there and get us a hit. They got to go in there and do this hit. We didn't have that kind of pressure. We just lucky I was with a record company that gave me the freedom to go in the studio and record what I felt like doing.
Yeah.
And that's if you notice, you see a lot of early Fatback songs. I think we did something like about 6 in 2 years. I think we did about 6 albums.
Wow.
When we first started. But we just had that freedom. We could go in the studio and do anything we wanted to do. And we wasn't keeping up with the trend of music. You know, like, you got to be like this. We just went in and started jamming. Just started jamming. Because what happened is, when the band went in the studio to record, they didn't know what we were going to do. They didn't have the slightest idea. I didn't even have the slightest idea of what we were going to play when we was going in the studio. We would look at each other. What we going to do now, Bill? I would start a beat, bang, bang, and then start humming and singing. And this is how it all come together.
What do you think the secret is behind the everlasting popularity of your songs? Because as you mentioned, they're still popular today, they're still played on the radio every day, and they're still getting thousands and millions of streams.
What it was, we were 10 years in front of everybody. We started a whole lot of trends. We were the one that was the founder of beat music. That's what Fatback was, beat music.
Yeah.
And that's what they're playing now. They just started beat music in the last 10, 15 years. And it just happened that Fatback music was beat music. And then another thing we started was the line dances. We started that with a bus stop. And Fatback was right in there with bus stop.
Yeah.
But that's most of the stuff we was in front of ourselves.
And there is an angle to say that you started rap in a kind of way, because your song King Tim III, Personality Jock, is considered to be the first rap song ever commercially released. Of course, you didn't invent rap, but this was the first song to be commercially released.
Yes, I heard rapping going on up in the Bronx, and I when I went in the studio, and as a matter of fact, I was in the studio at the time, but my band also play a lot of street stuff.
Yeah.
And, like out in the park and around the community and stuff like that. Just a moment. So what happened is I heard this up in the Bronx, and I said, I didn't know what it was. First time I heard something like that. So when I went in the studio and the album we were doing, it didn't have a hit. I was talking to Jerry. I said, I don't hear nothing that sounds like it could be a dance tune, because we only play dance music. That's all. And rap was dance. So it fit right into our format. And I said, Jerry, why don't we do a rap? Jerry said, we can't even talk. You talking about rapping. We can't sing. Yeah. Anyway, this happened that one of the guys in one of the roadies in the band said he had a friend that lives in the project up there. He raps. And I told him to come in the studio. He came in and I played this track I already had made. And And I said, can you rap on this? He said, yeah. I dropped his voice right in on this tune. And that's how all that came about.
Yeah. And it's interesting because how would you describe the style of Fatback Band? Because that's rap, but then you also do funk, disco, R&B, a bit of everything.
I really don't have no style. I never did have a style. Music, all music is music to me. I love it all. You know, I love the classics, and I was classic, I love country and western, and I love all kind of music. And I didn't want to pinhole Fatback into one. I didn't want to just pinhole it in one thing. I want to be able to play, you know, wherever, whatever the occasion might be, Fatback could fit in.
Yeah.
And that's what I tried to do with the band. If you notice, when we record, you see some strange songs that really, he said, this is supposed to be an R&B album, but this don't fit in here. Yeah, but that's what I did.
And you've came to the UK a lot over the years, haven't you?
The UK is like second home to me.
Yeah.
The UK really found Fatback and made Fatback, and we've been going there ever since. One of the producer, my partner Jared, was playing with another band, and he was touring with Jimmy Castor, and he went to the UK, and he said, "Man, they playing some Fatback music in the UK. You better find an agent and try to get over here." So they playing your music over here, and they wasn't playing them. You see, we had a hit in the UK 3 or 4 years before people even heard about us in the United States.
Yeah.
So we always say that the UK is our second home.
And we love you over here. I think it's true that if you have a hit in the US, people kind of forget about you after a while, whereas in the UK, we still remember you.
Yes, that's a strange kind of thing, but it's true. It's true. The US is built around you.
Yeah.
When in the UK it's built around the music itself.
Yeah.
You know, not about the age or who playing it. You know, so it's that's the difference.
Yeah. And when you perform at shows, what are the audience's favourite songs? Or do they like all of them?
We have 5 songs that we have to play all the time. Maybe 5, more than 5. We have to play Bus Stop, Backstroke, Wicky Wacky, I Found Lovin', and another one is Money. We have to play those 5 songs every time we play.
And do you find that the audience just love it? They're in a good mood and they're ready to get up and dancing?
Yes, they're in a good mood. They're in a good mood. Because we play dance music. Time Fatback first beat hit, the flow never stopped. First, from the moment on. I forgot to include in that list Spanish Hustle.
Oh, of course, yes.
We have to play all those 5 tunes. I wouldn't care where we play it. So it's kind of hard for me to fit new music in. They love to dance in the UK.
Yeah.
And that's what we're about, dance music. You very seldom you hear a ballad, a slow song from Fatback. Very seldom. Can you name a slow song that Fatback played?
No, not off the top of my head.
But that's what we do. I always tell people we're a dance band. We're not a show band. We're just a dance band. And if we can't get the people dancing, we know something wrong. Either we don't have it that night, and very seldom that happens. Most of the time we are hitting on 105. Most of the time, and even when we hitting on 100, 100% the band. But most of the time we usually be hitting about 105%.
Wow. And what do you think about current musicians and music in general today?
I love music today because, number one, they're playing beat music. And every time I hear beat music and stuff, I say, hey, we started stuff like that. And most of the stuff that I hear is, it comes from Fatback and it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff I hear is Fatback music. It's similar, you can tell they were listening to Fatback, and some stuff I don't think I heard anything really that I dislike, but some of the stuff I really don't go for, But I don't listen that much to lyrics. I'm a groove man.
Yeah.
I I listen to that groove, you know. He could be saying anything on top, and I don't pay that much attention. But as long as he's in that pocket, man, in that groove, he got my attention.
Yeah, for sure. And what else is coming up for you? Have you got shows coming up and projects and things?
We don't have that many shows coming up. We don't do that many shows here in the U.S.
Yeah.
We do most of our stuff in Europe, and right now most of the stuff is since COVID. COVID slowed everything down. Before COVID, we were kind of rolling, you know. But after COVID, we only seem like we only getting festivals now. You don't get that much work during the winter months now, like you used to get. Before COVID, you know, we'd be working. We'd be working somewhere during November, October, September. Now we get a gig now and then, and during the winter months. But come start around April, we'll be rolling right up until it gets cool again.
Where are we able to keep up to date with you and, of course, listen to all your classic hits from over the years?
You can go to fatbackband.com and get some of the stuff. Every once in a while, I put out a newsletter. I don't do that much now as I used to do because I don't have that energy like I used to have. You know, I don't still have that fired up, get up and go energy now that I used to have. So I used to put out a newsletter once a month. Now I'm lucky if I get one out every 3 months. But you can go to fatbackband.com and I try to keep the website up to date. But other than that, I don't. I'm on all of the media things. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and all the good stuff like that. I'm on that, but I don't keep it up like I should because you know I've been in this business now about over 50 years now, and till it becomes, you know, the business is still exciting to me, but I don't have the energy. I have the energy to work. I can't stand sitting at home now. I can't stand. I'm ready to go out there now to work, but I just can't get anybody to give us any work. Nobody out there, you know, only a few people out there working. And I understand the business side is now, and I know, you know, if in this today's market, if you're lucky enough to be working at all, you should be blessed. You should thank your God you're doing that because it's very hard out there now. It's, you know, it's not like it used to be. But if you get a record going now, you make more than you ever made before. Yeah, you make more money you ever made before. If you get one gone. But you got to come through with one. That's the hardest thing is getting the ears now. And the thing about it is, one of the things that kind of disturbed me is most of the jockeys and stuff, they don't make room for new material. That forever, because I put out new music sometimes twice a month sometimes, and I used to put it out twice a month. Now I put out something about once a month, but they don't play the new music. They still playing the old music. That's the hardest thing is to get the guys to play your new music now. I can't get out my shadow.
How old are you, by the way, now, if you don't mind saying?
August the 5th, I had my 90th birthday.
No way.
Yeah.
I would have said 72 at most.
No. Fatback is 50 years old.
Yeah.
The group been around 50 years.
Well, many thanks for joining us today. It's been fascinating to talk to you.
It was nice, man. It was a pleasure. And thanks a lot for calling, man. And anytime.